Welcome to the Late Night Show. Hope everything is okay. Hope everything is all right. I'm your host, Andrew Dick. Okie dokie, what's happening on the lovely Isle of St. Martin? We begin with the news of how is the National Alliance looking at this recent situation what's happening with the government of St. Martin, 1 year anniversary. Well, I had a good sit down with the leader of the National Alliance, Egbert Doran, on Thursday, and this is a nice exclusive look at the interview. Hope you enjoy it. Take a look. All right, interview segment right now. We have the leader of the National Alliance, Member of Parliament, Mr. Doran.
Yes, sir.
How you doing, sir?
I good, man. Solid.
Solid?
Still solid.
All right. Talk to us about the season. It's December. I'm not going to start off with the 1 year anniversary yet. Let me just go based on, yes, so you're in office. You're not in office, but you're in opposition. How things
Well,
going?
in office and public office, I don't look at it as no other thing than representing the people. Because regardless to being in the or part of the coalition mix or outside, you're still a member of parliament, and I think that that's a role that I hold in very high regard, especially because the people could have chosen anybody else, but they chose who's there, and I take my job very serious. I don't, whether coalition or opposition, I carry it with the same, how you say, pride and dignity, because you represent the people.
Of course, how are things going as far as this government blind to what's really happening? I guess that's how people seem to perceive it, especially with so much hot button issues that are pending.
Yeah, I mean, that's a wide question, to be honest, Andrew.
Yeah, I
but,
know. I can imagine.
Let me put it like this. I believe that ego is playing a big role in the management, or I should say mismanagement, of the affairs of the people when it comes to this government. And I'm hopeful, because you remember everybody that went to sleep last night didn't wake up this morning. So I'm just hopeful that going into 2026, that they would how you say, realize that the method they are applying in terms of maybe not listening or not taking advice or just being totally out of touch, it's not working. And we need to do different to see different in terms of what is happening around us. Just a quick example, today I saw that Front Street is going to be, I think, closed off for scooters and so forth. And listen, at the end of the day, I think we need to try all kind of different things to come to a good result, because we see what's happening, right? But remember, everybody that rides a scooter is not somebody that's going to commit a robbery. If you're talking about statistics, then the statistics will be very low in that regard, because, I mean, it's one ever so often. The other day, we have people with jet skis. We have people with cars. We have people doing robbery in all shapes and forms.
Police uniforms.
Police uniforms, you know. And I think that this quick fix approach is what is causing us to not only remain stagnant, but actually go backwards. A couple of months ago, I'm sure you could remember, a lot of justice meetings were called with regards to the crime prevention. We had closed door, we had open door, we had meetings with the prison, all kind of different meetings talking about crime. And what you keep hearing, and what stood out to me when the Minister of Justice mentioned, you can't base crime on just a feeling that you feel in your stomach. Basically saying that everybody in the room, that's how I translate it, and I'm being quite frank here, everybody in the room is talking nonsense, and the statistics in the crime is very low. When you ask for the statistics, you can barely be provided with the statistics. So I'm saying all that to say, Andrew, I don't have to be a statistician. I don't have to be a minister. I don't have to be even a member of parliament to see that we have a crime problem here on this island. And there are different ways and means we could try to tackle it. I don't have all the answers, and I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, I know every way to fix it. But I do believe that we need to be more in tune with what the reality, and that's the only way we could, adjust and make things right to the best of our ability. Because at the end of the day, it's still human beings. I don't expect a quick fix tomorrow, but I do expect to have a listening ear, or somebody that's willing to even take into consideration certain things, and I think that that is missing with the entire group.
Is there enough being done as far as the minister is concerned? Because yesterday in the press briefing, she addressed it again, and she says she takes into account all the concerns, but um, a lot is being done.
In
It's
what, in
enough
what,
with
in what regard then? In what specific regard?
minister tackling.
I know, but a lot is being done in justice, or a lot is being done
Injustice
with crime,
in crime.
crime prevention.
Yeah.
Again, I would just with my based on what I know, because I don't know everything and I don't know what all is taking place in the background. I do believe that the challenge that is taking place right now, especially with regards to a lot of justice workers and not having their Landsbesluiten completed, that is playing a role because you have a lot of demotivated individuals moving around. We have a first responder crisis, by the way, and I haven't heard anybody mention it, how I phrased it just now, because you have the justice workers, there's an issue, so not only police, but across the justice chain. You have, and I'll also name the prison because there's a lot of short staff in there as well. You have the ambulance and you have the fire department. So we have a first responder crisis taking place right now. And I think if we don't, as a country, so I'm not going to say, oh, put it on the government, because on our end, we are doing our part. We call an urgent public meeting, which was finally held. But again, you get all kind of shimmy-nimmy responses, but no clear, concrete solution as to the way forward.
I was just about to say it was postponed until further notice.
Yeah, and this is continuing. I was away for a extended medical leave for about 3 weeks, actually. I came back. There was a meeting supposed to happen on Monday with the question hour based on, liquid natural gas. And, basically
Yes.
discuss bringing the prices down for fuel.
Yes, what happened to that?
Postpone.
Oh.
Until further notice, or which notice. I don't know who does notice, but I just ain't noticing the meetings coming back. You understand? And I don't know how to phrase it any differently. You go over to yesterday. We had the day after that, so Tuesday, we had a closer session regarding GB, and it's like to basically hash out the truths of things and certain things that can be made public and
Yeah.
so forth in a closed door session. I didn't get any wiser from the responses that I received. I'll just leave it at that. So going into the meeting, I had information in my brain coming out. I didn't have no new information to be able to say, hey, listen, we're on the right path. I didn't even have a good feeling about the meeting, to be honest. Then yesterday we had to have a meeting as well. Cancel again.
Yeah.
So I am going to tell you, Parliament is being grossly mismanaged. It's affecting the work. It's affecting the productivity. It's a matter of the survival of the fittest, I would say, because for me being I would say almost seasoned, because I think after 10 years you could label yourself a seasoned
Yeah.
public servant. So me almost seasoned because I have about 8 years now, going on 8 years. It's very difficult to operate, but I have a lot of information in my mind and experience, so I'm able to maneuver. Atwell as well, Omar as well, and others as well. You see them picking up, but it is difficult for us to operate based on these conditions because we can call meetings. The rules of order is being violated. Only the chair could violate the rules of order, for those that don't know. So I'm just putting it out there. Meetings are being called in the time span that is stipulated. They have something called an urgent public meeting. It's all regulated in the rules of order. So it's 4 times 24 hours. Again, the chair could determine, is in the chair's purview to determine if a meeting is urgent. The meeting on the central bank, the whole nomination, that was an urgent meeting request. I think it was about after 6 weeks that meeting was called.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? There's something called a regular meeting. I could put in for a regular OVA, and that has to be called within 14 days. So you're talking about an urgent meeting request. We consider it urgent at the time based on what was taking place and all the violations. It didn't do the 4 days. It didn't do the 14 days. And it was like 3 times the 14 days or more, you know what I mean? And it's what's happening is very unfortunate. I've never seen this. I've been around a little while, and even going back before I even entered the arena, it's just total disrespect. And I understand the idea behind of politics and, trying to protect your minister, but if it ain't working, it ain't working.
They ain't working.
And it's obviously not working.
All right, let's take a commercial break. When we come back, more of the interview.
Get it lit, boy. Love your vibe, yeah. We the best, boy. Give me the light, yeah. And we turn it up every time, every time. And we bust it up, watch it hype, watch it. Ha! Bad, 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 bad. Anywhere them see me, blame me gun, them a chat. Bad, 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 bad. Busting up the place with my style, bad, bad. What kind of thing that style where we fling?
Having trouble with my internet. It's dropping in my bedroom and the kitchen.
Problem in your internet is your Wi-Fi. You see, things like the size of your house, the building materials you use, like concrete walls, whether you have multiple floors. And let's not forget the distance between your modem and your devices, like your computer, your phone, TV. All these have an effect on the quality and the strength of your Wi-Fi.
How do you know this stuff?
You need to check Telem. They have mesh devices that allow you to create your own smart Wi-Fi network to cover your entire home. It's a few small devices working together like a team to cover your entire house with strong Wi-Fi signal. Super easy. Here, I get one from Telem today. Download the app from your phone app store, plug in the device, and plug into the modem. When light blinks blue, it's ready to pair via the app. Go to app, click next, and follow the instruction. Place the second device where you need coverage. Boom. Now you're covered. Telem makes it super easy. They offer convenient payment plans of just $12 a month. And my guy, and if you opt to get the fiber plan, they'll come and install it for you. Guess what? For free.
Oh, wow. I'm gonna get my smart Wi-Fi plan today.
Hey, let's do this thing.
Today itself.
Get your smart Wi-Fi from Telem today.
Earlier on Thursday, I had an interview with the leader of the National Alliance, Egbert Doran. Here's the rest of the interview. Now, initiative-wise, I know you have some initiatives that you are working on. If you could give us an account as to how things are going so far with it, and what are some of the initiatives?
Well, most recently, I publicized the whole concept of reintroduction of the military training for our young men. As you can remember, prior to 10-10-10, our young men would go to Curacao by the caserna, do a year training. Some of them continued on for some years, build up ranks. Majority of the individuals come back after 1 year. You see them either enter the police academy or customs or prison, we call it Kuswak, Coast Guard, you name it. I think that is something very important. Unfortunately, I mean, when I made 18, I was already in the Netherlands studying, but it would definitely have been something that I would have wanted to experience. My older brother, he went to it as well, and different family members. So it brings a sort of a discipline to you, and also helps you to grow in terms of the development and everything. And it's a plus, you know? And it's quite unfortunate for so long we didn't have it. And I see now, and I'm not saying that this is the solution for everything, huh? But we have to find different ways and means to be creative to get things done. We see there's a rise in crime, but a lot of these essential things that we had that basically had things under control, we don't have it anymore. So I think sometimes we just want to, move forward, but I think you have to look back in order to move forward, and this is something that I believe could definitely work. When I went to Curacao, so not on a working visit, but I went to Curacao. I had different meetings with different stakeholders about different things. One of those meetings was with the current Minister of Justice there, and I asked for the price breakdown, how much it would cost per, if we send one soldier, so to speak, and I got all that breakdown. I communicated this in a letter to the Prime Minister Luke Mercelina and also Minister of Justice Natalie Tacklin, and also sent a letter to the chair of the Justice Committee in Parliament, which is MP Myers, to have a meeting so we could start getting the ball rolling to have this done ASAP, you know. I hope that this is executed with haste so that we could at least start a dialogue, because I think that it is definitely a step in the right direction um, in molding what we would like to see for our St. Martin and bringing it back to some more tranquility, because what I'm seeing happening right now, it's really, really out of the way. I even saw a robbery the other day in a video. They ain't even wearing masks, Andrew. It
Yeah.
become a point like, you know, it's just strictly don't care-ish. And I think it's dangerous. And sometimes we ignore things until it comes close to home. And I think before it comes close to home, we should deal with it. Because I'll give you an example. There's a saying where they say, if you put all the leaders or politicians on minimum wage, you'll see how fast the minimum wage will go up, right? And I don't think that anybody, and I'm not only talking about politicians, but I don't think that any one of us should have to experience something happened to your mother, your brother, your sister, and then all of a sudden you develop a passion to want to fix the problem. We are in decision-making positions. I sat in the executive branch. I know that things are not one, two, three. I've learned a lot. Of course, in hindsight, you say, "Oh, I could have do this better. I could have do this." That's just how life is. If I leave from here now, I'm gonna say, "Man, I should have mentioned this." That's just how life is. We live and we grow. And even looking back at the video, I say, maybe I should have sit up a bit more straight. You know what I mean? We live and we learn, and the next time around, you try to correct those things. I think that now that things are fluid, this government came in the best time, I would say. The reason why I would say that, Andrew, is because we left tens of millions of guilders in the coffers. 100% fact. We got the money and the capex. I think it was after 11 years St. Martin didn't receive capex. It came in September, October of 2023. As we all can remember, the election was in January. We were out of office by May. In that transition period, I tried to push as much projects as possible. One of them being the whole side road project, where you could look around the island. I think it's about 30-something are completed at this point. The project had to be completed since last year, complete in its entirety. They stall it, they stop it, try sabotage it, different things that I'm hearing, and then eventually they continue it because guess what? I already signed it off, so you couldn't really go back on that, you know, which I find quite unfortunate. I hope that they would bring it in the following budget 2026 to continue that and do some more roads because it's needed. I'm talking specifically about the side roads projects and get the ball rolling. It's not a Jurendi idea, it's something to serve the people, you know what I mean to say? And again, as I always say it in different forms and so forth, your legacy cannot be etched in stone by just saying Doran didn't do this correct. I've yet to hear the current minister mention an accomplishment, you know, and I find it quite unfortunate because the esteemed position that you are in, that I am in now even as a member of parliament, it provides us an opportunity to serve our people. And if you're able to say, hey, listen, I was able to sign this permit or sign this new policy, then that's what you call legacy. Because at the end of the day, we're not going to be here forever. In 100 years from now, some other people are going to be sitting in this chair and they won't even know who we are.
Yeah.
So the only way they could remember if they say, hey, listen, boy, you know, late night had this program, this is what it is, and you build in your legacy, you know what I mean? And I have yet to see that come from this government in particular. I see one or two ministers, you know, doing their thing, I must say, but for the most part, it's not really working, and I think it's maybe lack of proper planning, but who's me to judge? I'm not over there, so I wouldn't know. But I could say for certain that there's millions, if not about 2 million guilders right now sitting down, not being spent, no project is being executed. The last project that was done was there by area of Real Auto, where they take a road and they make it one way. I still try to ask myself, the logical thinking behind of it, because what it has done, in my opinion, is just make things much more difficult to reach here by this station, for instance, and everything is just, all over the place. And I would hope that, sometime when you're doing a project like that, engage the stakeholders, because a lot of people who were in the area complained to me, and they asked me if it's something that I signed up on. I say absolutely not. I know that there has been discussions about doing it while I was there as well, and I couldn't find the logic. Maybe you could have just put it as a temporary something, test it out, see how it go, and then adjust. But you make it fully what it is. You make a nice little path in the middle of the road where people from the back could play dominoes now legally in the middle of the road because it was doing it before. It just makes you wonder what is really taking place. And nobody is saying anything about it, not even coming out and explaining why they make certain decisions. And that I find quite unfortunate.
2026, your wishes for the people and what you're going to be working on.
Well, as I mentioned, I'm working on the whole military initiative. I'm also working on request a meeting to have the whole 4-day work week discussed. See how we could find different ways. A lot of people, for instance, right, we have a major traffic problem here on the island, right? One of the reasons, or the main reason we have traffic issues, or one of them, we don't have enough roads. But then the roads that we do have, we take away and make it a one-way. I've never seen, I still can't understand the lot. I'm back on it again because I can't understand the logic behind of we need roads, but then you're taking away roads. And this is government doing this, huh?
Yeah.
Besides that, when you drive around the island, Andrew, there's so many potholes right now. Since all the raining season that we had here, not one of them is being worked on and or repaired. When I was in office, the next day or 2 days after, you already see they have a circle around them, and the boys them whether from in the yard, or if we need assistance because it's too heavy, we would bring in some contractors to do the quick patching until we do the whole resurfacing. There's accidents taking place. There's so much traffic happening. The other day, I dropped my daughter to school at St. John's. Thank God I don't have to go all the way up MPC, because then I don't know when I would have reached back out. And when you come out from, let's say, from Sakers Gut, from Sakers Gut Road, straight to Mount William Hill, going down the hill, got cars, trying to get in this direction. I mean, come on. The police is trying their best in certain intersections to guide, but there's only so much that they can do. And then you don't want to sign the LBA. You know what I mean to say? So it's a lot of things taking place, and I just really, in regards to my hopes for 2026 and what I'm working on, the 4-day work week, the military, I hope that this interview reaches the ears of those that have to make certain decisions, so that they could wake up and realize that things is not getting better if you don't start to go in the right direction. Right now, I feel like we're going backwards. Like I said, this government was blessed and fortunate to have tens of millions of guilders, which we didn't have for sure. And that is why, every year it would be difficult for me to work on the roads, because I only had 2.1 million guilders. I left about 10 million guilders there for road repair. I haven't seen a tender come out as yet for the road repair. I haven't seen a tender come out for anything. There's so many things expiring in the next couple of months. I'm talking like maybe April, March, February. The ministry is just quiet. The wastewater pumps, the wastewater infrastructure, I secured $15 million US for, to connect more homes. That's from Guana Bay. It's the last one, and it go straight up into Sugar Garden, is where we know the project had to continue. I haven't seen a tender. I haven't heard anything of it. So again, like I say, the government is sitting on money, busy complaining about everything else, but not executing what it's supposed to execute. And that is quite unfortunate, because I believe that is doing a disservice to our people. And this ain't about just picking. It's factual stuff that you can ask them as a reporter whenever you come across them and see what the answer would be.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thanks for having me, man.
Of course, always a pleasure to have the leader of the National Alliance, Member of Parliament, Doran here.
I just want to also, before you continue and close, wish the people of St. Martin a Merry and Happy Christmas 2025. happy holidays, happy new year. Stay safe, be vigilant, and all the best. And remember, family is everything, so spend as much time with your family as possible.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be right back.
A new day begins. The sun rises over St. Martin, bringing new energy, new possibilities. This island was built on resilience, progress, and the strength of its people. Our connection is what moves us forward. It links our communities, our businesses, our families. From the heart of the island to the shores beyond, we've connected St. Martin. From every street to every home, this network was built for St. Martin by St. Martin hands. Connection isn't just about signals, it's about people. This is your island and your network recharged. Proudly local, we're here for today, tomorrow, and every milestone ahead.
Time for your throwback. Let's take a look at what took place a very long time ago. Okay, kids. You know what's happening on St. Martin, so I don't have to tell you what is happening. I trying to piece together what took place on Monday, today, in the House of Parliament. Reason why is because there was a big situation whereby the coalition of 8 members ended up having a plan to remove the chairperson of Parliament, the worst president of Parliament, of course, Christian Heliger Martin, from the chair. But when the voting took place, 2 members of this coalition decided not to add the agenda point to remove the president of Parliament to the meeting they had in Parliament today. So the 2 members basically betrayed the 6 members that they were part of, but then in the voting of the law that the government was bringing for the 12.5% to remove the conditions for the civil servants, the same coalition members and some members of the opposition voted for the law. So therefore, they confused the living hell out of everybody in St. Martin. So, perspective. The Parliament meeting today, this is what took place. First, there was a back and forth between Sarah Westcott Williams and the President of Parliament concerning what can be added to the agenda and what could not be added to the meeting today in Parliament. Let me first start off there.
To the voting of the adding of the agenda point that was requested by MP Bryson.
Madam Chair Lady, before we go over to the voting, and obviously I will not have an opportunity to speak except to motivate briefly my vote. But Madam Chair Lady, I would need the Chair of Parliament to explain to me under what stipulation that any member can request an agenda point to be added to the agenda. Madam Chair Lady, I have on more than one occasion explained what is understood under a proposal of order. I think it is totally wrong to accept that any member can come at any time to add an agenda point to a scheduled meeting, let alone where the agenda point was nearly completed. And to prove my point, Madam Chair Lady, I am going to ask the Chair of Parliament the following question. I have a request, no, wrongly. Several members of Parliament, including myself, have a request at Parliament to debate the presentation made by His Excellency the Governor on behalf of the government of St. Martin. Madam Chair Lady, you answered the requestors of this meeting requesting two things. One, for us to motivate our vote, and secondly, for this meeting to be held subsequently to the IPCO conference in the Netherlands. Your request, Madam Chair Lady, was complied with. And I'm asking now, if this chair, if this Parliament feels that our rules of order allow me now to say to you, Madam Chair Lady, I would like that agenda point to be put on this meeting today. Is my question. Madam Chair Lady, if the argument, if your response is going to be no, then end with the argument that that particular request by the members of Parliament would require the presence of ministers, and thus you cannot put it immediately on this agenda, then I put the following to you, Madam Chair Lady. Currently, a request has just been made to Parliament for the Committee Inquiry Mullet Bay to come and present to this Parliament what that committee has done until now. That request, a formal proposal, in accordance with our rules of order, at any time, the Parliament can decide to ask an inquiry committee to present to Parliament. So my proposal to Parliament is to ask that. So if your response to my first request to let us then in this meeting debate the presentation by His Excellency the Governor can't happen because we would need ministers to come, then I ask, can I put that official proposal to have the Mullet Bay Inquiry Committee come to Parliament and tell Parliament what they have done in a committee that needed to work for 8 months, approximately 3 years, nearly 3 years later, what has been done and what has been spent. Then I ask that that proposal, which is registered at Parliament, that then be added to the agenda. Saying all of this to make the point, Madam Chair Lady, that if we are going to admit that at any time a member can ask to put an agenda point on an agenda of Parliament, we need no rules of order.
Okay, all right. So now, the voting of whether to add to the agenda point to remove the President of Parliament, yes or no, was the question. And that is why they had to vote. And the President of Parliament then did the following.
Based on the proposal by MP Westcott, it is regulated in Article 52 that before the start of a deliberation on a subject, Parliament may, on the proposal of the President or that of 3 members present in the meeting hall, impose rules regulating the duration of speeches of the members. Now, what's ambiguous is when to add it. So what I would like to suggest is that we discuss this in the next faction leaders meeting to deliberate that. I will now honor also the request by MP Westcott Williams to add as an agenda point for the Mullet Bay inquiry to come into Parliament to do a presentation and provide us with an update. But let's first go over to MP Bryson's request. And I note before I adjourned, one members of Parliament request Hope to look at stemming. So let's go to that, and I'll choose a number. The number is 14.
Ludmila de Weaver.
My apologies, against.
MP Sarah Westcott Williams.
Against.
MP Hakeem Arundel.
Against.
MP Rolando Bryson.
For.
MP Siddharth Bijlani.
For.
MP Chanel Brownbill.
Against.
MP Solange Duncan.
Against.
MP Christophe Emmanuel.
Against.
MP Melissa Gums.
Against.
MP William Marlin.
For.
MP George Pantaflet.
For.
MP Rayon Peterson.
Against.
MP Hyacinth Richardson.
For.
MP Angelique Rameau.
For.
Chair Lady of Parliament Grisha Helga Martin.
Against. The proposal by MP Bryson is not carried with 6 for and 9 against.
To say that the President of Parliament won today.
I win. I win. I win.
Yes.
I win. I win. I win. I win.
All right. Okay, all right, I get it. Yes, you win. All right, okay. And she wore green too. Did you notice she wore green? The President of Parliament wore green today and basically telling the leader of the United People's Party, I win. I win. Yeah, it gets more interesting, people, because the support from the MPs, Brownbill, MP Hakeem Arundel, whether they send in to officially withdraw the support from the government, we don't know. I doubt that. Because, look, they voted for the government in a different agenda point. But it goes to show that the support in government has lessened. And when I say that, I mean it. Because I know you've been hearing all kind of different story when it comes to the coalition, but it's simple. Recently, 8 members of parliament sent a letter to the governor informing him of the coalition being intact. We haven't seen this document, so whether it exists or not, we'll have to take the words of the politicians we don't trust. But in any case, they say that this document exists. So based on that, 8 members, you have to minimize 2 members who today did not vote with the coalition, even though they said they were going to vote with the coalition to remove the chairperson of parliament. Now, you could say that they decided at the last minute that they didn't want to do so, or they were paid off by somebody, or they decided that in their heart, they really love Grisha Heilige Martin, who continuously, for the past weeks in radio interviews, said that no matter what, she will not work with Hakeem Arundel or Chanel Brownbill. But now, Chanel Brownbill and Hakeem Arundel support her staying there only for her not to work with them. St. Martin is not a real place. I'm completely shocked. And at the same time, I shouldn't be, because politics continues to be politics, people. However, it's confusing to the population who tries to understand why these lovely people continue to stab each other in the back. Because if we are going to sit together as a majority and say, okay, so tomorrow, this is the plan, and then tomorrow comes and it doesn't happen, how do you go back into, well, Yeah, you see, I thought I was ready, but yeah, I changed my mind. But I'm still there for you. I got your back. And yes, again, politics makes strange bedfellows. I get that whole saying, so don't get me wrong. But it's still surprising to see the actors play out all of this situation that happens, because then where is the trust? Where is the allegiance? And of course, that's not going to be the case, because I guess it's a dog-eat-dog world, or it's cutthroat because it's politics. That's how we play it. I cut your throat today, and tomorrow we're going to be bumpalitos. But the true winner of today's debate, today's politics, is MP Krisha Heiliger Martin, because she has positioned herself as a real contender for the leadership of the United People's Party. So with a Congress coming up, the question is, who will the up-camp pick for the leader? Will it be the existing leader, Rolando Bryson, who clearly lost control of the coalition that he was in charge of for the past 3 years? Or will it be the POP, President of Parliament, who basically outmaneuvered the MP today and basically showed that Theo's still in control? Heiliger run this because she wore green and she won today. She's still the leader, and the ultimate loser for today is MP Bryson. That's just how it is. So, question is, what's going to be the MP's next move? What's Napoleon's next move? And we won't know until it actually happens. Will it be that he goes and have his own party and leaves the Theo party alone? Or will he join the National Alliance, which he's been basically carrying for the past 3 years? Maybe by join, there's actually no other good party. Let me see. That would actually take him. That's why I say a good party. Hold on. Mercelina, that's a no-go. I know for sure Gracita Arenal not going, nope. PFP for sure, I don't think he's Dutch enough. The Now part, nah. He and Chris. Nah. Capitalist, socialist, can't work. What about, yeah, either a new party or a new party. Or maybe he beats Heiliger Martin in the Congress of the UP. That should be interesting. In any case, many people are asking, what happens next, Andrew? What's going to happen now? Well, for now, nothing, because the actual MPs didn't send a letter to the House of Parliament and to the governor stating that they withdraw their support from this current government. So until that happens, they still could continue being there. However, it makes it problematic when a law or a motion or anything has to be presented in Parliament and has to be voted upon. That's going to be another interesting factor. So we have to wait and see, people. So that is your latest when it comes to this political drama that we are facing. St. Martin is not a real place. It can be, but for now, it's not. That does it for Late Night Show. Thank you so much for watching. Until tomorrow, do have a safe and pleasant one. Bye-bye.